FM Talk 106.5, Dan Brennan along with Alison Herlihy from Herlihy Family Law. Great to see you again, Alison.
Good to see you, Dan.
Let's talk about let's talk about what people a lot are going through right now. That would be divorce. One of the hardest things a person may have to go through in their life. How does Herlihy Family Law help clients with maybe with their expectations? First of all,
well, one of the first steps when you contact our office is you fill out an information sheet that gives us all the important background facts about your case. And then from there, you'll schedule an initial consultation with an attorney.
Okay.
And we use that time to go over all the relevant facts, what your options are, and if we can help you.
Tell me about residency requirements, what that term means, and what it's all about.
Sure. One of the first things that you have to meet if you can file for divorce in Alabama is you have to be a resident of the state. If both parties are residents of the state, you can file a divorce at any time. But if your spouse still lives in another state, say you moved, then the spouse that's filing has to have been a resident of Alabama for at least 6 months before they can file.
And we're in kind of a funny little place here, not far from Florida, not far from Mississippi, so this might be something you have to deal with from time to time, right?
Right. This is something that comes up often. And also people are just a lot more mobile as a society as they used to be. People move around for work all the time, and it can be a significant issue.
You talk about this in the morning when I'm talking about your firm, about having the right amount of empathy, having the right temperament to deal with situations that are really, really painful, right? I mean, that's what you've got to do.
That's definitely true. You have to be able to strike a balance, because you need to be objective and give good technical advice,
right,
but also be cognizant of the fact that your clients are going through one of the most difficult life experiences they can go through, and they need somebody who can listen.
Yeah. I think since you've been doing this since 2005?
That's right.
So you've done it many, many times here in Mobile, and you're not going to see many fastballs get by you. You're not going to see come across something in a divorce that you haven't seen before.
Well, I hope that's true.
Well, doing it that long, the chances have been reduced that you're going to be surprised by anything, right?
That's true, yeah. We definitely see a little bit of everything.
There's contested divorces. There's uncontested divorces. It seems like it's obvious what one is and what one isn't. Why don't you explain exactly what that is?
There's a lot of confusion about those terms, and it's a really good question. Mm-hmm. To be able to file an uncontested divorce, basically what you're filing the agreement of the parties that both parties have signed, and then essentially you're asking the judge to just ratify their agreement. Mm-hmm. So to be able to file your case as an uncontested divorce, you and your spouse have to agree on all the terms, which can include everything from custody and visitation of children, all the way up to what are we going to do with our house, what about retirement accounts, debts, and things of that nature.
Something could slip through there easily, right? Not even something that you would intend to overlook, but you have that many things. You're not, the husband and wife probably are not lawyers themselves. It'd be easy to slip up a little bit. So what's your best advice trying to do an uncontested divorce?
Well, I think good communication is probably key.
I would think, yeah.
I've had a lot of clients over the years who'll come in and say, we know we want to do an uncontested divorce and we agree on everything except custody of the children. Mm-hmm. Well, as you can imagine, custody of the children is one of the biggest, thorniest issues there is.
Sure.
So if you can't come to the same page on that issue, you're probably not going to be able to do an uncontested divorce.
And if it's a contested divorce, you've got properties and other things like that that's got to be figured out. What's the best path there?
Right. So a contested divorce, rather than filing it on an agreement of the parties, you file what's called a complaint for divorce, because a divorce is a lawsuit, just like any other type of civil litigation. Then at that point, the case gets on the court's calendar to eventually go to trial. But just because a case starts out as contested doesn't mean you have to go to trial. The vast majority of cases still settle out of court eventually. Mm-hmm. It could be that you simply need more information to be able to settle, like if you're not familiar with the finances. Mm-hmm. Or it could be, that somebody needs a little realistic expectation management.
Back to expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes going through the process to understand what's realistic and what's not in terms of outcomes.
Thank you, Alison. If you want to find out more about this really excellent law firm, you can at HerlihyFamilyLaw.com. That's HerlihyFamilyLaw.com.